Hello and welcome to the Codec Moments Podcast. I'm your host, Ali Cornwall, and joining me for, is it almost the first one of the year, I want to say?
It quite scarily could be, couldn't it?
Yeah.
It's the first one we've recorded this year.
Yeah. I'm joined by not only Matt, but also Andy. Hello.
Mate.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while, so this isn't an illusion. We actually have an actual episode for you, and to nobody's surprise, it's going to be Hitman talk. The surprise is we've not already talked about it.
Well, we thought we ought to get an episode in about it before they release the next one.
Yeah, it is looking that way, isn't it?
Well, this is already gone on sale. It's half price. There's free content if you've never bought it for Dubai, and there's DLC coming as well. And we've not put one word into, I was about to say magnetic tape, but into digital recording about it.
All right, old man. Yeah.
Magnetic tape. Can you just explain that for the younger viewers? It's been a while since we've managed to all get together. All of our work has been crazy, so we've just not managed to sync our diaries up and get some time in, really.
One of my children never sleeps.
Oh, no. Is that the boy by any chance?
It's the new one. The
Yeah.
newish one. I mean, it's like a year and a half old now. But yeah.
Bless him.
Yeah, lovely.
And you've got a cold as well. Horrendous.
I have,
One
and
after another.
I hate in this kind of post-COVID age having a cold, because it just makes you really paranoid about what everybody else thinks. Because I just sit there on the school playground dropping my kids off, and I feel like I've got to suppress any urge to cough that I have.
Oh, you should just own it. Just cough and see how much distance you can get around you.
I've given up.
As long as you've got a mask on, you're fine.
I don't know if either of you two, not that we're turning into like a illness or COVID podcast or anything, but I don't know about you two, but yeah, COVID cast. I've got asthma, so I do randomly just cough every now and again, especially if I've got a face mask on. And I was ridiculously paranoid to the point that sometimes I go red in the face trying to hold it in. And now I just think, you know what, screw it. It just makes people move further away from me so I can get to the biscuits in Morrison's or something. Or the supermarkets aren't available. But
Tactically using your coughing to get food.
I'd never thought of it as an aid to getting biscuits. Now I see this in a whole new light.
Anyway, Hitman 3. It was released earlier this year, and it's quite a fairly quick announcement and release.
Yeah, by gaming standards, was it about 5 months?
It's the 21st of January it was released, and then I think they announced it in one of the PlayStation plays that they were doing. I think it was announced maybe when they were doing stuff for the PS5. I guess that's the other thing since the last time we recorded. We've all got PS5s.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've done a couple of shows. I don't think we're quite that bad. But yes, it was done because they announced the VR piece, didn't they? That's what they put onto onto the showcase. So
it was announced on my birthday.
Oh, so it was a good 6 months.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think, was that one of the ones that you couldn't watch live and me and Matt were messaging and you thought we were pulling your leg?
I did, yeah, genuinely, yeah, because you went, oh yeah, Hitman 3, but this was after you'd already told me about a new Splinter Cell game. And, yeah,
Hannah Montana 4.
Train Sim World 3.
Yeah. Like the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah, it was very, very much like that. I thought you were fibbing.
Yeah. But yeah, it was relatively quick in game terms, wasn't it, from announcement to release. It hit us on the 21st of January, or rather, sort of hit us on the 21st of January. It was an absolute show of a release from IO.
Yeah.
The original, the 2016 Hitman was pretty poor for its server connections and things like this.
Yeah.
This whole transfer of progress, I mean, I don't know about you guys, I couldn't play the game until the following day. Even though I'd preloaded, pre-installed, and was ready to go at midnight the day of release.
And I had issues where the transfer started, I thought it had finished, and I was able to access content and went in, played the game, and then the next time I logged on, it had reset my progress in terms of achievement, in terms of the challenges and stuff. So there were a load of challenges in Dubai where it had shown that I'd completed them and locked them out, but my score had reset for the mastery. So I ended up like really having to go work hard to get mastery in Dubai because loads of stuff had already been locked out.
Yeah, and that isn't an easy one either for the mastery. You have to do a lot of the challenges, don't you? It's not like some of the levels where you maybe get through about 3/4 of them and it pings. You have to do near enough all of them.
Let's put it this way. I think it's the first time I've ever really thought, yeah, I need to do a silent assassin suit only run.
I had a slightly different experience to you guys, and I did initially start off a little bit cocky because I got it in the PS5 so I could get the next gen textures and all that kind of stuff. Whereas previously I'd played it on the Xbox. I was like, well, I don't have to worry about transferring it over. I'm just going to have the pain of starting again. And then I was being hit with server issues. And to the point, I think by the end of that day, we were both like...
I think I remember... I do remember sitting there and you were both sending pictures to our group chat of disconnections. It was like, oh, this is painful.
Yeah.
It had so much promise, though, because they had the instructions as to how you would do the transfer and how the transfer process would work up, like a week in advance. And the one bit they said, we'll add nearer the time, which is the link to actually start the process off, didn't appear. In fact, I think you had to have the game installed and running to find the link, didn't you, eventually?
Yes. As soon as people were first able to get access to the game, somebody posted the link on a forum, I think, and you could then access it once you knew what it was. But it was just an odd choice. I mean, they didn't switch anything on until 1 p.m. UK time on the day of release. So you've had it pre-installed for a day or two already because it's done everything that it needs to. But nothing will work until 1 p.m. I don't think the game would even boot, would it? It was locked out. If you had a digital version, if you had a physical copy, then you could put it in. The servers weren't running properly and you couldn't do the transfer, but you could play the game. It was just a bit naff, given the amount of communication, the amount of detail they put about the transfer process and what was going to happen. And then I think it must have been 12:30 in the morning, like the following day, just after midnight, before I got a level to load with all my progression handed over from the previous games. And I played 2 minutes, and server disconnected, and I just went, fuck this, and went to bed. I'd had enough. I'd had enough for 12 hours of trying, and it would you just saw it, especially when you're looking forward to something so much, and it was just a pain probably for the first 2 days.
It's a shame. It's a shame they didn't get that link up and get the server transitions running earlier. But that said, 48 hours later, when the transition could be done, it was great.
Oh yeah, once they got it all sorted,
and it's an absolute godsend being able to have. Because I toyed with the idea of starting over again and unlocking everything, and I'm so pleased I didn't.
The one thing I will have to say is we do have to pull one out for our PC users. Because I think it's only been in the last month or two that
it's not even that long, is it? Is it like 2 or 3 weeks?
Is it? I wasn't sure. I thought I was being generous thinking that much, but I know it's been fairly recently that they've fixed the issues from people that had it on Steam and now on Epic Store, I want to say.
Yeah, because Hitman 3 is exclusive to Epic for the first year.
Yeah.
So,
but you couldn't transfer your progress from one to the other, and people were going nuts about it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's been quite convoluted. And the whole piece about the PS4, because you've got the PS4 and PS5 versions together, if you've bought them in any format, you've got them both. The whole bit that, you can transfer your progress over to them from your PS4 game to your PS5, if you've got Hitman 2 and things, but you won't be able to share the save. You can't share the save. You can't do it even if it's on the same console. It does it automatically for you.
It's server-based. Yeah, exactly. It works perfectly. Yeah, I've flipped between my PS4 and 5 all the time. It's great. It's like Elite. Yeah. It's a server-based game, so it doesn't matter where you play it.
Yeah.
It's always got your latest progress.
Oh, it's it. It's where we played on PS5. I think I played a bit on PS5, then ducked to PS4 to see what the VR was like. As soon as I booted it up, ping, 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 trophies. That works all the way through.
There's a reason that my PS4 is sat on my office desk and my PS5 is in the living room.
So it's just, there's some things they said just the opposite seems to have happened. But all right, get past that part, and actually, is it what we expected it to be? Does it live up?
I'd say so, yeah. I think so. They've added enough features to it as well. So kind of spoilers for anybody that may want to get to it. It's not really story spoilers, but there's different ways to open doors. So you've got the codes now, which I thought was a nice little feature.
Yeah, nice.
Again,
adds the world building really nicely, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it was a bit daft that most locks are either a tumbler that you can pick or a swipe card that you had to go and get off someone. There wasn't any other kind of ways of someone securing a door. And now it makes sense that you can have the keypads and you have to look through somewhere like a window and you see a code on the door or whatever.
Listen to somebody's conversation as well. That's a...
Yeah. And then the one in the mansion, obviously we'll get to the specific episodes and that, but the one in the mansion where to open the safe and is there pictures of the various animals and then you have to go and look at them and you get the code off the top of them and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I quite like that extra puzzle element that they've added as well.
Yeah. It is interesting. They've not massively changed the formula, but there's a significant shift in the intricacy, I think. And Hitman 2 was an intricate game, but Hitman 3 feels more so. And then there's the step on in the engine, and I don't think it's just for next gen as well. I think it's done it on the previous gens. It looks phenomenal. You take Dubai and the location it's in, that very opulent skyscraper.
Yeah.
And strolling through that for the first time, you're just looking at how impressive it is and all the reflections and everything else. And I don't know if you guys were the same, but I ended up sort of wandering through and thinking, my God, this ray tracing is really good. I like this. And there's no ray tracing in the game. They haven't actually implemented yet.
Yeah.
It's just a really, really well done reflections. I forget what they actually call it, but there's a specific way of doing it. And the only way I was able to tell it wasn't ray tracing was actually in the Thornbridge Manor. If you're in the dining room where they've got like the wooden parquet polished floor, you can see the full reflection of all the windows and the roof, and none of it lines up if you actually look at it and stare at it, but it is the correct geometry. It's just kind of mirrored and stuff. It's really, really weird. It doesn't work if you stare at it, but it's bang on if you're just running past it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It just looks phenomenal. It's so smooth, so detailed, so dense and so crowded that they've just gone all out. I found it much more vertical than the previous games as well.
The verticality is phenomenal. Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
The thing I found about it is a lot of the levels when you start seem almost impenetrable, and you get halfway through and you're like, this is a nightmare. How am I ever going to get to this person and do what I'm meant to do? But this is where the replayability of the game comes in, because the first time I played China,
Chongqing.
I hated that the experience the first time I played it, because it felt like I was making very little progress very slowly. However, through unlocking the outfits and just a bit of map knowledge, and also the persistent shortcuts,
which is also new.
Yeah, made it ultimately a joy to replay and go back to, and actually it's one of my favourite maps now. The persistent shortcuts, just quickly. You played on PS4 and PS5, Matt?
Yeah.
I think they're stored locally.
I hadn't noticed, because I did do the vast bulk of it on the PS5. By the time I got around to opening the shortcuts further on in the mastery.
Because I played it on I can't remember which way round, but I played it on one console. Definitely unlocked all the shortcuts in Thornbridge Manor, and then was doing something on the other console and went to run round to the ladder up to a balcony, and it was locked up.
Yeah.
I was like, I definitely undid you. So I think they may be local.
It could be. It could be there's some local things that aren't there.
Yeah.
But they're a nice touch.
Yeah.
Having those bits to bypass certain sections once you've effectively figured out how to get through them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice. And the you mentioned about the replayability, and I think I found it more important for Chongqing that the mission objectives, after you've played the story mission, when you're doing replay, some of them become optional. So you don't have to do them again, because there is the Chongqing one with no spoilers. The secondary objective on that is a bitch in the story.
Especially
it's very long, very slow. It's good, but you don't want to do it each time you do the level, and then it doesn't make you do it. So it's like, thank God for that.
I wish they'd gone back to Sapienza and done the same to that, though, for having to destroy the virus thing. That would be nice if that became optional.
Yeah, not having to do that would have been lovely each time. So what have we got? We've got Dubai.
Yep.
We've got England with Tonbridge Manor.
Yep. Dartmoor,
thank you. We've got Berlin.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Which we'll talk about Berlin. We've got Chongqing.
Yep.
We've got
Mendoza.
What's that? That's it.
Argentina. Yep.
Argentina. How could I forget the Argentina
I
mission?
know
I
that
spent
you love that
so
one.
much time in that one, because that's one where you need almost every challenge to get the mastery as well.
Yeah.
And then we've got, I forget the name of it, but it's the final mission set on a train.
Carpathian?
Oh, it's the Carpathian Mountains, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Romania. Yeah. So, 6 locations, which a lot of people could quite honestly think, 6 levels?
There's not much content there, is there?
And if you know what you're doing, in fact, even if you don't know what you're doing, arguably they probably take about 40-45 minutes if you're using the mission guidance and being slightly careful. If you're not careful, it's a bit quicker. So you start saying, well, 5 hours worth of game, is it worth it?
Yeah. Of course it is.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so
we would say that.
Let's put it another way then. So 5 hours worth of game. Mr. Brown, how many hours have you put into it?
Do you know, I haven't checked, but it was, when we looked at it, it was in the order of, it was about 50 or 60, wasn't it?
I think you were about 60 hours.
Yeah.
Because you've been played across 2 consoles, which were tracking the time separately.
I had to do maths, didn't I? That was right, yeah.
I'd done 44, I think it was. And this was within 2 weeks of the game coming out. This is not like over 3 months.
Yeah, no, this was not long after.
No. We pretty much just sat and solidly played it, talked about it.
Starting to see why we've not done a podcast in
too busy playing
3
things.
months. Yeah.
But yeah, it's compelling, and it isn't about going in and doing level once and then moving on. It is about the replaying. It's about finding the secrets. It's about completing the objectives in different ways. And I think if you take it to heart with the mastery, I think that's the core hook of the recent games.
Yeah.
If you're aiming for the mastery, then you are going to explore and get everything out of the levels. If you're just looking at completing the story, I think you're missing 90% of the game.
It's also that thing, and this is what I've always found with these 3 games, is if you're going for the mastery, you then have that element of, I've got new toys, so I want to go and try those as well, which leads you to a whole other avenue of replayability.
Yep.
In theory, that is there. Unfortunately, that's not how I play it, because I tend to go into every mission with the default fibre wire and lockpick. And very occasionally, I'll take a pistol. I tend not to take anything with me, so I've got all these gadgets that I just don't use.
But this is where we had a lot of fun doing contracts, because we sat together on the share play in a party chat, watching each other play the game, challenging each other to set up contracts in new and interesting ways, finding new and interesting ways of using explosives and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah, and that's as long as you've got the people around you are prepared to create contracts or play contracts or have a go and just have a laugh with it. There's a lot of value in the contracts mode, which is nice. It's back, and yeah, that ended up being a lot of fun for a single player game.
Yeah,
for us to spend a good 2 or 3 hours just messing.
My gripe from Hitman 2016 stands. You should be able to challenge people.
Yes.
To a contract you've created. I can't believe that's not still there after this amount of time.
And you still have to know the exact contract ID of your friends, which is a 15-digit number.
It is something ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't just go, search for friends.
Yeah, you can. That's how I find your contracts.
Can you search for friends?
Yeah, you can filter it friends only.
Well, there you go.
Is that a hidden option? I've scoured that screen.
When you go to, I think there's a filter in the top right, and you just hit friends, and then you have to go across right again because it doesn't automatically select it, and you just go.
I stand corrected. I did not.
Well, there we go.
We'd not investigated that closely enough.
Well, stand corrected. You're right. You can't challenge somebody. You can't create something and send it to them easily.
No, but you can go.
That's why we're having to take screenshots and put them in a group chat so that people can find it.
Yeah.
But that's nice to know that you can at least go find your friends' ones, which I didn't realise at all. We learn something new every day.
Matt's going to fact check this now.
I'm toying with the idea of remote playing in right now. Going and finding it.
It was it's strange. Like looking at the series as a whole now. 3, I really enjoyed 3, and 3 more so than the others in this little trilogy. Felt like them sticking 2 fingers up at Absolution. a lot of it felt familiar, but pleasantly different. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it very much did have an Absolution vibe. In the underlying Diana story, anyway.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, it worked and it was good. The story was good. I enjoyed it, but it did have a little bit of a sense of deja vu in that. Okay, so we had the Diana thing in Absolution, but we also had the double cross at the end of Blood Money, which I don't think you can outdo.
Not that one. No.
Having someone help you fake your own death so that you can attend your own funeral and murder everybody who's come to see you off into the next world is about as blunt as twists at the end of a story go.
She's keen on that kind of stuff, is Diana, isn't she? I mean, we're 3 in.
But that said, I feel that there were lots of moments in this game where you think, okay, this has parallels. It's analogous to Absolution, but it's done how they wanted it to be, how they envisaged it to be.
Yeah.
So there's that bit I was alluding to earlier in Chongqing. If you do something with an objective, you get a kind of alert state, and people are hunting for you. So you have this hunted section.
Yeah.
But actually, you can totally stealth it.
Yes.
And it's, if you're patient, the first time I did it, I had that whole, oh my God, I've got to escape. I'm going to kill all these guys mindset. But actually, when I went back to it, I was like, okay, I can be a little bit more sensible, a little bit more tactical here.
You see, I stealthed out of it the first time.
I just saw the red mist along with the red alert sign.
Yeah, no, I stealthed it.
It did feel like, all right.
You and your murder sprees.
But again, the Carpathian Mountains, it feels like the kind of level where it's compact, it's close quarters.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think there was much opportunity to take different routes or stealth through, but I think certainly, I don't know about Ali, but I know that you and I managed the Silent Assassin rating on the first playthrough of it.
Yes, I did, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, you are able to do it. You're able to, as long as you take your time and pay attention to what you're doing and where you're going.
Yeah,
and it's key for picking up the right disguises on that one.
Yeah, definitely. But it was a real, I don't know, it was like a showcase of how you do a linear level in a game like Hitman and make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like Hawke's Bay from Hitman 2.
Yeah.
It's a short, small level. Was it the right size of level to finish on? I'm not convinced. I didn't find it necessarily anticlimactic, but I would have liked, given the scale that had been built and built and built through the other 5 levels, to then kind of shrink it down to that. It was a lot more action focused. I'll give it that. I mean, I might have stealthed it the first time around, but the second time I did it, I murdered every single on that train.
Yeah. Has to be done.
It was a full-on everybody died.
Yeah,
because you could. And it's not often you can do that. So it did have something very, very different for it, but at the same time, it felt it could have been a bit bigger because I wondered where it was going. I wondered, and this is the conversation me and Andy had years ago about potential Hitman levels. We talked about one set on a plane. Where ultimately you end up in a destination and that continues the level. And I kind of half thought that was going to happen.
Me too. I wondered if we were going to end up in the Romanian countryside somewhere. Hunting the final target. Yeah.
Or at least for like an extended episode. It sounds daft. I've probably got more play out of that last mission because it was so linear, but also there was so much to do and different objectives to get. And as you're going through it, it appears easier than what it is. Can you do a silent assassin like suit only or just trousers only? And I've played that a lot. I've even done the escalations on it, which was super fun.
Oh yeah,
there's one bit where you've got the samurai sword, and I think I messaged you, Matt, going, I can't figure this out. How does the timer go down? And it's because you have to kill people.
Well, this is the thing with that one. So yeah, one of the escalations is like a white ninja one where you start with a samurai sword and you have to work through, and there's a timer going and you have to feed the sword blood, don't you? And if the timer runs out, it's mission over. That timer is only there if you have a HUD on, and I play without a HUD. So I kept failing it with absolutely no clue what was going on, what I was meant to do, and why I was failing. And in the end, I kind of
went there thinking, right, so I can't kill that guy.
It was for the beginning. It was like, well, why couldn't I do that? And it eventually clicked and went, oh, each time I die, it says the blade needs feeding. Or maybe I just have to kill everybody really quickly. So I sped run it, killing everyone, and it obviously worked. But I didn't know until somebody mentioned in the chat that was how you did it.
Brilliant.
Going back to my two fingers up at absolution theory, Berlin is the prime example for me as to why this is the case. Because I think it does, again, it takes the whole hunter being hunted theme that Absolution had, and just basically says, yeah, this is what we really intended, and then even has the gall to call it Apex Predator.
Yes.
Yeah. I really enjoyed those two linear levels. I don't know, because I don't know. It's not something you would expect fans of Hitman to say, that you enjoyed being like put in a cardboard box almost. But I just really enjoyed the like claustrophobicness of them. You know, like some of them, like obviously getting to the Berlin episode, it wasn't so much. But
it was the getting to Berlin.
That's the linear bit, isn't
was
it?
tension building as far as because I don't think you knew what to expect.
Yeah,
especially when it was like almost a murder mystery at the start.
I wouldn't have considered Berlin to be linear.
No, I mean that is a big ass level. Is Berlin? There's a lot.
Yeah, when you get beneath the skin. Yeah.
It's from 3 levels down to 3 or 4 levels up. In terms of verticality, that is a level that shows it off, as John King is as well. But yeah,
also nice to have so many targets to choose from.
Ah, yes. So the Berlin level tasks you with taking out a set number of other agency people. Each has a code name and a backstory as well, which is quite nice for you to dig into. But you don't have to take them all out to complete the level. And that makes it really interesting on picking and choosing who you want to take out and really identifying the easiest ones on your first playthrough. And then, of course, for the challenges, you need to do everybody else. And in particular ways as well.
Yeah.
My favourite was throwing the cocaine brick at a fan to drug one of them up so I could follow him and drown him.
Yeah. I did enjoy that level quite a lot, especially how you had to find them as well.
Yes,
like you were stealthing around, waiting for someone to talk on a radio in a certain way to say they've not, and it's like, right, okay, that's who that is, and
the whole thing of not having a handler was really good, actually, really interesting,
and that was bizarre, wasn't it? To start, especially the first time you've never had it.
You go to the menu and you think, okay, so what intel have I got? And you're like, nothing. There are no challenges. There are no mission stories to complete here. And you think, oh yeah, okay, so I haven't got a handler. Oh,
I've got to work this out. What?
Yeah.
It was nice that suddenly that mechanic made sense in the greater scheme of things.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a fantastically designed, possibly the standout level. I thought Thornbridge Manor, where you can take the detective disguise and do the murder mystery, the whole Agatha Christie thing.
That was brilliant.
It was superb, but Berlin was just phenomenal.
Yeah. Plus you get to be the DJ.
Yeah, I did spend quite a bit of time at those decks.
I think the other level, apart from the train that I've played the most, probably is Thornbridge Manor. Just because I enjoyed it so much and trying to get around it and to get in the different disguises and also seeing how quickly you can do it. There are some levels that once you've figured it out, it's a bit of a, not a breeze to get around, but you can find your own way in, get what you need to get done and get out.
It's so pretty as well, though. If you stand in the grounds and look up at the skybox, it's just so pretty, and it really does look like a murky English day. It's fabulous. Yeah,
superbly well done, isn't it? They've nailed the atmosphere of that kind of place and the location it's in. It's
you guys might be able to correct me if I'm wrong on this with your extensive Hitman knowledge, but is this the first Hitman level where you've been able to set something up so someone else does something to kill one of the victims or kill someone else? Do you know you can do the apparatus? Basically, you fix the apparatus not really knowing, and then she goes along and then makes the poison which kills.
Well, you can do the photographer as well. You can set the photographer up so that he does
that's more of an accidental. That's you tampering with something.
In Mumbai, you could set up the target for the other sniper, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, you could. Yeah.
So there are.
But is that more of an accidental one or not? Whereas this is actually
having somebody else snipe your target.
Yeah, but you just radio in different coordinates or something, and say, all right, it's this guy. He's actually changed it out. Whereas this, you've actually.
Sorry, are you thinking of Mendoza? I'm thinking of Mumbai, where you've got the other assassin in the level, who's.
I know what you're thinking, Alex. Is it the first time that we've had another murderer?
Because I can't remember who it was. Was it you, Andy, when you did your playthrough and you were like, "Oh, someone's just killed her"?
Yeah, no, I repaired the piece of equipment that distilled the poison. And didn't even think about it, and then just as I was walking through the level, I just got a message saying, so and so's dropped dead, being poisoned, and I got a silent assassin rating.
Whereas with the sniper and different things, you had to do something, didn't you, to say it's now this person that you're shooting, or
no. I'm thinking you're thinking of Mendoza. I'm thinking of Mumbai. When the guy who's doing the painting, or you're doing a painting of the target, and if you mess with the other sniper's rifle a couple of times, he moves position, and then he'll shoot the target as you're doing a painting of him.
I'm trying to think if there has been anything in any other games.
It was just a really random one.
There's plenty of accidental ones. You can get somebody to accidentally kill someone.
Yeah, I mean the photo that you can capture when you electrocute her with her chair is just brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is good, is it? Because I'm thinking even right back to I want to say Blood Money. Yeah, Blood Money, where you can get him to kill him at the opera by putting live bullets in the gun.
Oh yeah, there's that one. Yeah, you're right.
So, but that's an accidental death. That's not a deliberate. He's not trying to kill him. It's part of the play.
Yeah.
You can swap it and make it happen. So accidentals have been there quite a while.
Yeah. But this is kind of like almost giving someone the tools to then go, well, you can go and kill him then.
Yeah. I can't think of any other scenario actually where there has been another one.
Yeah. That was an interesting one. Especially, I like the phone as well. We've not really talked about the phone too much, especially at Thornbridge Manor, where you're scanning bits in with
the camera.
Yeah.
It's a gimmick.
Yeah.
I think it kind of served its purpose in Dubai for opening the windows, and it was used for hacking.
And the
China as well,
Yeah, but scanning to get intel felt a little bit, or was it just trying to find a use for the phone?
Yeah.
Because you had your handler at that point, so you could have looked at something and Diana could have given you the intel, as she always does. It did feel a little bit that way, but I suppose you're taking photos and sending them to her to say, "Oh yeah, this is it." But
it's a bit. They made a thing about accessing terminals as well, didn't they? Because you remember in Dubai, you have to look for the map, and then they never really did anything more with that either.
No, it was just one, wasn't it? Yeah.
You're like, oh, that felt a bit underused, or like they could have done something more interesting with it. I don't know. Okay, they did the terminals for the server and stuff. That was interesting.
Yeah. But they could have used that finding the map for Berlin where you had no handler, and so finding a map could have been really useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and possibly you could have done something as well at Thornbridge Manor. You could have found like the schematics somewhere. It's such an old place.
You did. You did find the plans because it was how one of them knew about the secret rooms. But
yes,
you'd found the plans in a secret room, so you were already there. You could have done, but you already knew it was there.
Yeah,
it was like trying to find getting entrance to the last secret room. You could see there was a room on your map. You could see there was something to interact with. You just had to find something to put in the hole to open it, which was the absolutely phenomenal Snatch reference. It was the last thing I expected to see in a Hitman game, but brilliant.
Do you like tags?
And it was very playful, was this. I think the story was a lot more serious, and it took centre stage, but it was also very playful in a lot of the challenges and a lot just in the wording of them, and the conversation snippets were just a little bit more fun. Not that they haven't been, but it just felt like it was not taking itself too seriously.
Yeah. Is there anything other than the server issues? Is there anything you didn't particularly like or wasn't particularly fond of? Anything they've implemented or anything about any of the levels? Or
no, I wouldn't have said so.
No,
can't think of anything. No, there's nothing coming to mind.
It's just, I guess it's just an iteration of the third iteration of what they've been doing. So it was it was nice little tweaks. I mean, yeah, other than what we've mentioned, it would have been nice that some of these new mechanics perhaps were utilised a little bit more.
Yeah.
A bit more scope. It would have been nice if they've obviously tidied up all the previous levels and imported them in. It would have been nice if maybe some of the tweaks they'd made to the new game manifested themselves in the old levels, like I was saying about the optional objectives and stuff.
Yeah, that would have been good to go back to. I know it'd have been reworking all of them potentially, but it'd have been interesting if they just changed or tweaked a couple of things. But I can't say I played anything and thought, oh, that doesn't work, or that annoyed me.
The only thing
it was very, very slick when you weren't getting disconnected.
The only thing for me is that it took me a while to warm to the China level. There's always a level I find in one of them that's a bit, God, how am I going to find my way around this rabbit hole?
I think in a way that's by design.
Yeah. You need to replay that one to appreciate it.
But it's probably one of the easiest silent assassin suit only sniper levels I've done.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. You can do that one in about 5 minutes, can't you?
Don't even need to take your own rifle.
I think I've done it on the hardest as well, hardest difficulty, just because it was, once you get your head around it, it is like really easy to do.
Yeah, it was, but that is a tough level if you're trying to, and I suppose this is the key with anything that we've talked about in the game, is if you're trying to do it as a silent assassin, it's hard. It's forgiving, but it's hard. If you want to go nuts and kill everybody, then go for it, and it actually is very easy. You just won't score very well.
Yeah.
And it's often easier to start that way and then go back for the silent assassin, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And if something goes wrong, not going up bugger and reloading it, it's actually just go with it, make a mess, see what you can get away with, see what works and see what doesn't, because sometimes you're actually quite surprised at how much you can get away with and how lucky you feel you are, and I'm sure that's by design.
It's also it's going to sound really dark now. It's also quite good fun when you go into a level with that kind of, well, I don't really care about the silent assassin attitude, so this guy dies. And you get to actually really put that silenced pistol to use.
Well, that's it. Once you're doing the challenges and you realise it does not matter whether you're spotted or not, because the nice thing about going back and do the challenges, some of them seem quite complex or quite difficult, but once you get them, that's it. They're unlocked. They're done. You just have to achieve it. So even if you get killed immediately, you've done the challenge. Yeah. So that's when things get messy and you start playing around.
I tell you what is impenetrable though. That escalation in China.
I've not done that.
Was it the Li Hong derivative? Is that the one?
What did you have to do in it?
It's you have to grab like the special rifle from the roof.
Oh, yeah.
And then it gets hard. Obviously it gets harder. But then the last one is like timed, and you've got to do it in under 2. You've got to do the whole thing in under 2 minutes or something like that.
Maybe I haven't done.
Is that to get the? It's not the white suit, is it? To get a certain suit, I think. Is it like a traditional, like Chinese get-up or something?
I think you can unlock that rifle and then but it's pretty hard. You have to take out somebody on the cable car and then somebody in the restaurant. And
yeah.
Oh no, I haven't.
Getting
done
the cable car shot itself is quite challenging sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've not done that one, so I don't. Yeah, I haven't had a crack at it. But in fairness, we're saying there's 6 levels, but there's so much variety, and the bits they can do with these escalations and the guest levels where they've come in and tweak things, and what they're just about to do with the DLC, which I think has probably split us slightly.
Let's talk about the DLC.
Just before you go into that, though, Matt, if you had an email about doing a Codec Moments special on Hitman, doing our own escalation or anything, I mean, surely we should. We've talked about it more than what the games last. How come we haven't got our own little feature on it?
I don't think we're quite on IO's radar for that.
Shocking.
Oh, we've got levels planned out and all sorts, but they're never going to ask us.
I'm just imagining that, the Andy Brown up.
Yeah, got to shoot everyone in the back.
Double tap in the back. Yeah, but the DLC. So at the point of recording this, which is the 31st of March, we'd had the announcement this week. Was it yesterday? Of the DLC. It was either the 30th or the 29th. That they're doing a series of 7 Deadly Sins, which sounds like a lovely theme for this. It'd be 7 missions, we presume, in different locations with different requirements and different rewards. Seems like a really nice idea, but it's in the existing levels as far as we know. And what is it per episode? £6 per episode?
Yeah, or $24.99 for the whole thing.
$24.99 for the whole thing paid in advance. And we are 2 months since release of the game, and we all bought the deluxe edition, which we assumed would come with some stuff.
It's £4.19 individually, is what I was saying.
So £4 odd a level. But the thing is, from the surface, it looks like Patient Zero or the Sarajevo 6 missions.
To me, it feels more like the Sarajevo 6 because it's 7 different things across the levels already there.
Yeah,
but you do get suits and other items that come with it. I think is what they're saying. Act 1, Greed, will also include the unlockable Rapacious suit and 2 sin-themed items, the Greedy Little Coin and the Devil's Cane.
So it does unlock things, but that's not enough to entice me in. I want to see a different challenge or a different, even if it's a different layout, if it's a little bit like the House Built on Sand from Hitman, where they reworked the Marrakesh level, or where they reworked Sapienza into the movie set.
Yeah,
Was that or the election one? If they're doing that with the levels, I think it's worth it.
It does say they include a visually distinct contract. I don't. That's the vaguest wording you can possibly put in there.
So what? For me, I'm not willing to put the money in on it yet, and
you'll get there, Matt. Stop.
But you
denying.
you don't let me finish speaking yet. But we need Ali to play it because he spunked his load on it already.
Yeah.
And needs to try it. So if you play it and it turns out to be almost like playing a new level, I probably will go and buy it.
Oh, so I'm your guinea pig.
But I'm just
now,
you are.
Squeeze.
What was Andy calling you earlier? The Codec Moments fluffer?
Yeah.
That was a private conversation. We didn't need to put that on there.
Yeah, right.
Between me and Ali.
If you give it a shot first, let us know what it's like, and I could be tempted. But if it was Sarajevo 6 style, which was free, which was great because it was free, but I wouldn't have paid 25 quid for that.
I want to know what the greedy little coin is. Because because it's all well and good paying money if it's just a visual thing. Like the cane, I get. You could walk around with the cane, use it as a melee weapon. If you're that into it with the suit,
you get the cane and get to pimp slap someone.
You get yeah, exactly. You get a bitchin' suit and you get the cane and you get to pimp slap people. That's exactly it. But the coin it's not something you can really show off that much, is it? So is it just literally a reskin of a coin, or is it going to have some other properties? Do you know?
Yeah, because there's already like 3 or 4 different coins you can have anyway.
With it being a greedy coin, whether they've done it or not, I'm wondering if it's like a never-ending coin. So I'm wondering if you flick it off or whatever, and it just suddenly appears back in your inventory.
It's like an infinite.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I'm imagining that it's a little coin that everybody wants because they're greedy when it's around. So if you drop it on the floor,
everybody dives at it.
8 or 9 people just start making a beeline towards it.
That could be quite interesting,
especially with a block of remote explosive.
Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same. That could make some fun challenges.
I've just had a quick look on the website for the patch notes. So part of the stuff for the latest patch 3.20 which is part of the 7 deadly sins. So it's the greed, and it just says here, complete an objective, collect the coins that rightly belong to you, and feed them to the frog to reap your rewards. And so I guess that's...
Oh, so they're putting extra challenges in them.
Yeah. So these rewards will help you complete additional objectives, and they only reveal once you've completed the previous ones. Should you exit the level now or get greedy and hunt for more coins. So it seems like there's some
new mechanic already.
Yeah, play it out, Ali. Let us know what it's like, how different it is, and that will decide whether I'm going to go and buy it or not. I've got the credit sat there, so it's
stop it. You know, stop pretending you're going to buy it. You know you are.
Only if it's worthwhile. I'm still, we're saying 31st of March. The game has already gone ludicrously cheap on definitely on the PS Store. I think it has on the Xbox Store as well, hasn't it? It's gone free on Stadia and it's been reduced on Epic.
No, it's not. It's not gone free on Stadia. It's the same. It's the starter pack. It's the same.
But that's it. The starter pack has also gone up, which is Dubai and the training mission, isn't it?
It says on Stadia it's Hawke's Bay as well.
Hawke's Bay is there as well.
Bay's a training level,
So basically, you've got 3 levels for free. You get the training level, Hawke's Bay and Dubai. Training level stays permanently with the starter pack, but it sounds like they're going to rotate the other levels round. Now, I'm sure they won't do all of them, but you're going to get quite a good flavour for nothing.
Dubai is free from the 30th of March until the 5th of April.
Yeah, I think they're going to change things around.
For those of the great number of listeners to the podcast who do still have Stadia Pro memberships, they've already given away Hitman and Hitman 2 for free. So I'd hold your nerve because I bet they will give away Hitman 3 at some point.
I love the way you're just talking to yourself there.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys already know this, but
just because I'm too lazy to cancel it.
I've got a few little spoilers for you of what's coming up in April as well. I don't know if you've seen them.
I've not, no.
So there's an elusive target called the Collector, which is coming to Dartmoor from the 9th of April to the 19th of April. And all it says is the countdown for the first Hitman 3 elusive target starts with the release of the March patch. You'll see the ticking clock in the menu, counting down to the 9th of April when the collector will arrive in Dartmoor for 10 days.
So it's got a countdown. So that's probably the first elusive target I'm going to do then, because it's the first one in Hitman 3, whereas the others have been replays, haven't they, of the old.
The other one that's possibly going to make you both go, right, that's enough of this podcast and off we go, is a seasonal event that's just dropped.
The Easter egg hunt in Berlin.
Yeah, from the 30th to the 12th. Follow the White Rabbit, the first seasonal event in Hitman 3. Owners see Agent 47 heading to Berlin, which has been transformed for the Berlin Easter egg hunt. This exclusive club, is it Holly or Holy?
Holy.
Event is strict dress code and it's at capacity when you arrive. So it's your knowledge of the club's exterior. So yes, there's a big Easter egg hunt from the 30th to the 12th.
They touted that back at the beginning of March, didn't they?
I think that means you can't even go inside then? Is it just outside? If they're saying the club's at capacity.
Yeah, but you've got to use your knowledge of the club to get in, I think.
That's easy enough.
But by doing it, participate in this event and you'll unlock the Raver outfit into your collection to show off your love of techno.
Yeah, I am going to give that one a go.
I'm disappointed there wasn't a blending option on the dance floor where you could just throw shapes of the Church of Dance.
That'd be brilliant. Bearing in mind the other crazy stuff we've seen Agent 47 do.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have worked. Or next to the guy who's just in his pants when you walk into the club.
Apparently the Easter egg hunt is a funky escalation as well.
Yeah, that sounded quite interesting. So yeah, they've advertised that for the last month. But again, we're 2 months in. It's taken nearly 2 months before we've got to the first Hitman 3 escalation. The game's gone cheap. It's gone on sale. And it feels like anybody who sort of bought into the deluxe edition, they've kind of gone, well, you've had your stuff now. Which is like a couple of escalations and a couple of outfits. It isn't... yes, they told us we were going to get that. I think we just kind of didn't expect them to chuck out immediately. The day that content is pretty much finished, they've gone, and now pay 25 quid more. And it's a little bit... Is it Square's doing, with it being the publishing the physical version that they've put a couple of stipulations in? Is it IO just saying, well, we always planned to release this, we'll put a price on it because we're not reaping the rewards?
I feel like the price drop at the same time they're releasing this content as well is it's not a coincidence.
No. And you know what, if I hadn't have bought it and I was buying it at half price, I'd be buying the extra content as well. I'd probably go, yeah, I'll do that. But I've already dropped 65 quid on the deluxe version. And it's like, that's why I am skeptical about paying another 25 if it's not worthwhile content. I was happy enough doing it with, the gold edition of Hitman 2. So it already had the season pass in it, and we got 4 new levels, because we got 2 sniper challenges and 2 actual full-on levels, and it's that kind of content I'm more than happy paying for, rather than just what might be a bit of an escalation.
If the deluxe edition had been £89 and included season pass, would you have bought that?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean I'm going to drop another 25 quid now on something that may not be anything substantially different on you.
Fair enough.
It's just a gold outfit and a new coin is not enough to entice me. Oh, sorry,
don't forget the pimp stick.
There's a pimp stick as well. But yeah, it isn't enough. So Ali, you tell us it's substantially different and the best thing you've ever played. And I might consider it.
I won't say it's the best thing, but if I enjoy it and there's enough difference, I'm sure there's not going to be too much of a rework of the levels, but I think reading what I've just read, I think there's going to be enough.
If there's enough of a rework of the levels, then yes, it'd be worth going into. It just, I'm a bit cynical over it. That's all, with how close it is to the actual launch. I know it feels like forever because we've all been trapped inside forever, but it's just, it's 9 weeks afterwards.
That, and the real reason why you're a bit on the fence about it is because you've also just bought the new Ratchet and Clank game, so you don't want to take away from playing that.
That's not out till June.
Is it not? I thought it was out now.
11th of June.
Don't forget, I've said I'm editing this episode as well, so there's every chance that the new Ratchet & Clank game will be out by the time.
That's a very good point. Yeah. 11th of June.
I saw it. I thought it was out today. I nearly went and bought it.
It's a great game. So, DLC, it's me being cynical. It's probably still going to be really good because it's not like they put out bad games, is it? Or even bad content. It's just...
No, you just want to know
the timing isn't great, I don't think, in terms of how far we are into the cycle.
2 words for you, Matt, that I feel might convince you. Holiday hoarders.
No, that's not enough to convince me.
But if you get 7 new episodes like Holiday Hoarders plus a pimp stick, surely that's enough.
I want a massive fan of Holiday Hoarders. As a level, I didn't think it was that good.
Just because you hate Paris.
Yeah. I do hate Paris. This is the one I spent most time in VR. That's actually something we've not talked about. We've not talked about the VR.
Talk about the VR then.
The entire thing is in VR.
Well, I think you're the only person that's got the ability to test it. I think pre-COVID we'd probably have got together, or at least you and Andy would have got together to have a go on it. But yeah,
I did. I went to Paris for the VR because at least I know the level, and it's impressive.
Why didn't you do Sapienza
about it?
Yeah, on the beach.
I think I did that really quickly, just a couple of bits of it. But part of the reason I hadn't spent as much time in it is it has made me feel massively sick, which I don't really get. And right now I'm playing Doom 3 in VR, in full-on first-person smooth motion, and I'm absolutely fine in that. But in Hitman, I was feeling nauseous within about 20 minutes. Oh, wow. And it took me 2 hours to do the Paris level. So by the time I came out of that, I was feeling really off, and so I couldn't bring myself to do loads with Sapienza. And if I'm honest, I haven't gone back regularly for that reason.
What was it? What do you think?
It's the smooth first person motion. It throws you off because you're sat, but your eyes are telling you you're not, and the sound's telling you you're not. So it just chucks you out. But I think it's. I can't say exactly what it is because, like I say, Doom is the same, and I'm not having that issue with Doom. It's a bit of a weird one. I can't tell you exactly what it is that's causing it, but I was surprised it had the impact, which is a shame because it's brilliantly done. It is the whole level. The main difference is draw distance and crowds. That you don't get the depth of crowd. You can see them drawing in, which obviously you don't see in the main game. So you can't see the crowd as far. You can actually see, like if you're looking across the stage, right across the other side of the building, you can see that, but you can't see the people. So it limits the objects, but the detailing is fantastic, and there's lots of stuff that stands out more than it does when you're obviously playing in the 2D, because when you're sat in the middle of the environment and you can see the gold edging on the cornicing on the ceiling, it's like, wow, that's cool. But it's also a very different experience because it's all first person. So if you've tried garroting somebody and then dragging them out of sight in first person, so you genuinely have to look over your shoulder and look behind you and look around to see if anybody's watching, which you would just spin the camera if you're in the third person view. It makes it a lot more tense, and it's a bit more challenging for it. But it's nice. It's really well implemented. It's just that motion sickness that has made it really difficult to want to go back and do loads of it. I just need to play with the settings. I probably need to put a bit more of a vignette filter. What is it? They do blinkers when you turn. I probably need to turn the smooth motion off as well because that's what makes it the worst.
Yeah.
For turning. But then you don't feel like you've got the same control.
Yeah.
If you take that off, it's finding the balance. Finding the balance to get it right. Or maybe try standing up and playing it. Sometimes that can help.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
But then I'll fall over.
Like
but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it's disappointing, but I guess not everyone's affected.
No, the implementation is not disappointing at all. It really isn't. It's really well done. It's brilliant. It's just, for me, it was the discomfort.
Yeah.
and it takes a bit. I think because I'll have done other games in VR since then, and I will be, I'll probably be feeling a bit more confident about it. I'll go back and give it a go and do some of the other levels. But everything is there. I don't know what I'm talking about. I did Paris. I did the training levels again as well because the VR controls are different.
Yeah.
So different things are on different buttons. So I did do all the training missions again. So I've done that too, which means I must have done the training mission about 5 times now.
Yeah. I don't own VR. I've played quite a bit of it at various events and whatnot. And I've yet to come across anything that's made me feel nauseous. The only thing that's affected me is taking it off and kind of going back to the real world. And then I'm a bit like, whoa.
It's different. It's different for different people. The bits that tend to get me, like I said, Hitman is the worst I've had. Second worst was Gran Turismo Sport. And the Drive Club demo, so it'd be driving games. In fact, actually, Dirt Rally in VR was a bit of a challenge as well. I think that's the motion, but your body telling you you're not doing the motion that you see, and it's that conflict that makes you feel ill.
Seeing as you're a driver as well, it's probably it really messes with your head, doesn't it? That you're like, well, I should be feeling G's here. I should be feeling the movement of the vehicle. Yeah,
that's it. It's because it's almost your brain sees what's happening and tries to mimic your reaction to that, but actually you're not feeling that. So that's what gets you. Arguably, probably GT Sport was a little bit easier because I was sat with wheel and pedals. I think the Drive Club stuff I'd done with a pad, and I think that's it's just sometimes it hits you, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you can play something and you don't have any issues at all. I think it just depends on the game and the settings and sometimes what kind of mood you're in.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much for that.
But update. You buy Hitman 3, at least on the PlayStation, you get the PS4 version, the PS5 version, and the PSVR version. There's a decent amount of value there. Yeah, I've complained about the 25 quid for some DLC, but I've had 3 games in one.
Yeah. I presume all the new stuff works in VR as well.
Oh, everything. It is exactly the same game.
No, I mean like this 7 Deadly Sins, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think it'll all be there.
Yeah.
Because it's all reworked in the engine. So it plays the same way, they do the same things, you have the same opportunities. It's all there. And you can
do the escalations stuff. And
yeah, everything.
Wow.
Not bad, is
I
it?
don't know if you can do contracts. I don't remember seeing that, but I'm pretty sure the escalations are there.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure everything is. It's like the same game. You're just doing it from first person.
That's a good effort, isn't it? To be fair, it's probably where they've spent a lot of their development time. If they've put, everything from Hitman 1 all the way through escalations, the works. If it is all in there and it's all in VR, that must have taken fair.
Well, it's the same time. It's the same game engine. No, it's the same design. It's just I would say it'll be a tweak on the engine that says when you're in VR mode, these are your limits.
Yeah.
And this is your perspective view, and these are your controls. But actually, it's the same experience. It's just they've developed the same thing. It's just that segment says working this way instead of that way. Yeah. Is what I would guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Lovely. Are we Hitman'd out?
Yeah.
Now. Yeah. It's been a pleasure talking to you both again about Hitman finally.
Yeah, I can't believe we've just done an hour on it. Actually, that was.
I can.
We said it'd be quite short.
Considering we spent 60 hours each playing it, I'm not shocked.
Yeah, and how much we love the franchise, and it's taken us a few months to actually talk about it. We've normally, in a normal situation, we would have probably played or had the game for maybe a week, and then done a record, if that.
Yeah.
But we've had a significant amount of time with it this time to do a bit more of an in-depth, which has been lots of fun. Yeah.
And it ended up being the first triple review as well.
Yes.
Because we did do that. We did review it and we throw a bit up.
Well, no, hold on. Have we all got the platinum of it as well?
I think 2 of us have.
Because I've had to do it all from the start, haven't I?
The double platinum.
Yeah. So we've got, between us, we've got 4 platinums out of
it. Nice.
Well, that's it. Once you've done it on one platform, you just boot the other one up and it all pings.
Yeah. Don't forget to check out codecmoments.com, where you can read our review, our triple header review of Hitman 3, where we all did it from a slightly different perspective. You can get the podcast and read all the wonderful articles that Matt does. Yeah, words that I can't get out of my mouth.
Words, articles,
and
Mark, our newest team member, who's doing quite a few reviews, and particularly like at the moment his Let's Talk segments he's doing. So looking at all the games, stuff that he's been playing or has got some interesting thoughts on. There's a nice one on Alien Isolation out there, and a really good one on Apex Legends, actually. That's worth going to have a read. So, yes, go and give his stuff a bit of love.
We're still trying to persuade him to come on the podcast and pop his cherry, so one day you might hear his voice.
Well,
we'll see.
If you ask him first.
Yeah.
Still trying to persuade him. We've not actually broached that part yet. In fact, we'll probably just have to do some Aliens Fire Team with him first, and then he'll be, because there'll be a special podcast on that.
Yeah.
Yes. What do we normally say on the outro? It's been that long since I've done one.
Twitter handles.
Oh, yeah.
And then whatever you want.
Yep. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at @corn_wolf. If you want to follow Matt, he is
at Codec Moments, which arguably should be the one that you're following, given you're listening to a Codec Moments podcast.
Indeed. But if there's people new, and if you want to follow Andy, you are at
Clinical Andy.
There we go. So speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.
See ya.
In a bizzle.
Oh, yeah.